Hello and welcome to this special one-hour broadcast of Up South. It's been 100 hours since 24-year-old Swathi, a techie from Chennai working for Infosys, was killed by a man with a sickle in one of the city's most populated areas in broad daylight. It's a story that has shocked a city reputed to be one of India's safest. There are big questions facing not just Chennai but all of India, because in this city, where the police force has always been very quick to solve crimes, it's been 100 hours and there is a killer still out there. Nobody knows what his identity is. Nobody knows what he even looks like. What we have are a bunch of grainy CCTV videos, and that too only by chance. Swathi's murder has shaken the collective conscience of the city and the country, raising some crucial questions about the safety of women and train commuters in particular. And with the Infosys techie's killer still at large, even the Madras High Court today has intervened. Before we get you that report, I want to tell you that we're going to be opening up our phone lines right here on Up South, and we're going to be asking the big questions. Why has that killer still not been arrested? We'll have a panel of guests, we'll have our live reporters in Chennai, and we're going to open up our phone lines. That number will be flashing on your screen in just a moment from now to give you the chance to call in, have your say, your voice, right here on India Today on the big Chennai story that's facing India. But first, the main story.
After Infosys techie was hacked to death in broad daylight on Chennai's busiest railway station, the killer is still at large. As the outrage over the chilling murder peaks, the Madras High Court has intervened, seeking status report from the Tamil Nadu government.
A division bench of the Madras High Court suo motu summoned the Public Prosecutor to sort a clarification. They wanted the Public Prosecutor to clarify whether there was any kind of lack of coordination between the city police and the railway police in probing this case.
With the killer roaming free, the case has now been transferred from the government railway police to Chennai cops. And while Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha has maintained a stony silence, DMK leader MK Stalin met the victim's family.
வரக்கூடிய காலகட்டத்தில் நடக்கக்கூடாது, இதுவே கடைசியாக இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு ரொம்ப பெருந்தன்மையோடு சொன்னது என்னுடைய மனதை உலுக்கி இருக்கிறது.
3 days after the gruesome murder, the police are still clueless about the identity of the killer. And with the brutal hacking putting the spotlight on a lack of security at railway stations, the concern over women's safety is resonating across Chennai. With Pramod Madhav, Bureau Report, India Today.
We're asking three basic questions here on India Today. 100 hours after that murder, is the police genuinely clueless? It's not a loaded question. It's possible that it could happen, but is the police working on any lead whatsoever to solve this crime? Because the faster it solves the crime, the better it is for the health of Chennai. People are worried, people are terrified that there is a killer still out there. We don't want to sound alarmist, but the fact is, for a city, and I grew up in Chennai, so I know what I'm talking about when I say it's a city with a reputation for safety and fast action when it comes to crimes of this kind, there's still no movement from the police's side. More importantly, Stalin of the DMK, the opposition party, went to meet Swathi's bereaved parents today. Jayalalitha has completely blanked out this story. She hasn't spoken about it. None of her leaders have visited Swathi's family. There is not even a mention of this story on the party-owned Jaya TV in Tamil Nadu. And more importantly, what are the big implications for Chennai? Is this city now, has it earned an unsafe reputation? Joining me live now from Chennai, we've got Pramod Madhav, who's been tracking the story very closely. Also, the Congress's C.R. Kesavan and Manu Sundaram of the DMK is with us. But I want to quickly first go to Pramod. Remember, we're opening up our phone lines. That number is flashing at the top of your screen. If you've got something to say, if you've got questions, if you've got concerns that you want to voice over the next 60 minutes right here, I'm taking your calls. That number's at the top of your screens. Bring your voice in here on India Today. Pramod, I want to come to you quickly first. Where is the investigation? There are CCTV videos of this killer. He's still out there. There are several questions that are still being asked. Is the police following any leads at all, Pramod?
Well, Shiv, for the to be noted, the first thing is that since today morning, after the cognizance of the Madras High Court's division bench suo motu decision to ask clarification from the public prosecutor, another development is that the case has been transferred from the railway police to the Chennai police.
Yes.
It comes under the Nungambakkam jurisdiction right now. The funny thing is that the two divisional judges bombarded the public prosecutor.
Yes.
They were asking that, knowing that the railway police are understaffed, why does it take nearly so much time to transfer the case? First point. They're asking the same questions which we have the doubt as well. The second thing is, why wasn't the dignity of Swathi maintained? Why wasn't her body not covered properly? For 1 hour it was left on the ground. The public prosecutor said that nearly 30 policemen were there. And still, why wasn't Swathi's body not covered properly? These are the questions they are bringing up right now. And after another development is that an hour ago, 16 inspectors have been transferred within the city's limit, Shiv. This is another development. It seems like TK Rajendran is stepping in right now and he wants to make some concrete decisions. Earlier, 151 suspects were apprehended for questioning and investigations. And right now, 16 inspectors have been transferred.
Right.
And since the case has been moved to the Nungambakkam police station jurisdiction, we feel that case is going to go on a much faster pace right now.
Okay, so the government appears to be on the back foot. There are transfers of inspectors that is happening in the city. We don't know if it's connected directly to this murder of Swathi, but there is obviously some defensiveness being shown by the Jayalalitha government. We already have our first caller. This is an emotive story and people want their voices heard. Sundar is our first caller this evening. He's calling in from Chennai. Sundar, what's on your mind? What would you like to say?
I would like to say that there are many unemployed, not so much educated youngsters who are chasing smart girls and communicate the love to them. And when the girls turn violent and just reject them, these guys definitely throw acid. This happens in Pondicherry, Nagarkoil, Chennai.
Yes, you're right.
And here is the case where from the image of closer to TV I can make out this boy, also one of the unemployed guy, looks like 20 years, chasing this smart girl, communicating the love, and she says, no, not interested, just leave me alone. And this fellow has brought this Ariwal, what we call the curved knife, and he has attacked her. That's very wrong. It will be very difficult to find out such boys.
Okay.
He might have even committed suicide now.
Okay,
These are all mental cases.
That's a very disturbing suggestion that you're making, that it could be very difficult to trace such people. Before I put some of these questions, these disturbing questions to our panel, we've got a DMK representative, Manu Sundaram, and C.R. Kesavan, well-known leader of the Congress party, who is in fact with us live from Chennai at this time. I'm going to take one more caller and then go to our guests. And remember, our phone lines are still open. Rahul calling in from Delhi. Rahul, what do you think?
Yes, so I just like to make 2 quick points.
Yes.
Actually, I'm a psychiatrist, so I just like to share an opinion of
yes,
what
please.
Could be. Point number one, we cannot blame politicians for this. Any leaders that matter, because this is something to do with society. Secondly, if this was someone who was stalking the family for a long time, in India, families wake up too late.
Yes.
They should have woken up early, and my suspicion, basis this guy's behavior and he's disappeared, he may have killed himself, or he may be on his verge of doing something to someone else before he ends his life.
Yes.
So they need to really get on their toes. This is my observation.
All right, very important. They need to get on their toes, and that's the reason it's important. C.R. Kesavan, 100 hours is it may be pretty commonplace everywhere else, but in a big city like Chennai, where there is CCTV footage of this man walking away, there must have been witnesses. There must be infrastructure to hunt down a killer of this kind. Isn't it astonishing, Kesavan, that he's still out there?
No, it's very heart-wrenching, Shiv, that, it's been 100 hours and we have not found this killer on the prowl yet. See, there are 2-3 fundamental questions here. One is giving justice to Swathi.
Yes.
You have to find this perpetrator of this heinous crime and, and ensure that the most strictest action is taken on him. The second part is, how do we prevent these from happening? See, the first part here is the court's observation was scathing. See, the questions they asked, they said, is there no coordination between the railway police force and the Chennai police? There was no CCTV camera inside the station.
Absolutely.
Shiv, you know that, you said you know Chennai well. See, Nungambakkam is a urban station, but the MRTS, the mass transport rapid system is all over. And you see, and if this is the state of Nungambakkam station, what about the other railway stations? I'm appalled to even think whether, what kind of production of facilities you have there. And look at what the court asked. They said, why did it take 2 hours for the police to come? Why 2 hours?
I don't want
to do politics here.
I want to put that question to the DMK representative Manu Sundaram. I hope he can hear me. Manu, it's either your party that's in power or the AIA DMK that's in power in Tamil Nadu. No CCTV cameras at the Nungambakkam railway station. You've been tweeting about the various lapses. Jayalalitha hasn't done anything. She hasn't said anything. Nothing is there on Jaya TV. But for all these years, as Kesavan absolutely correctly points out, Nungambakkam is a modern, built-up, populated area that has residences and commercial complexes. Isn't it shocking that there was no CCTV camera at this station, Manu?
That's right, Shiv. It is more than shocking, to be honest, I don't think the citizens of Chennai have quite come out of the despair that they witnessed during the Chennai floods. But, already this is a crime, as the High Court today clearly said, that has shocked the conscience of society. And rightly, the High Court has intervened and taken a few steps. Shiv, the DMK was last in power in 2011, and as part of a number of reforms, one of which we had suggested was CCTV and better policing. And as you know, policing and law and order are strictly under the domain of the state. But what we should really also question here is, in a situation of crisis like this and great trauma, what sort of leadership are we going to provide for the people specifically, and also the family of the victim? Today, the leader of the opposition and the DMK party treasurer, Mr. Stalin, personally visited and consoled the parents of the victim. And there's something that the parents have said which I thought was really moving. Even though they are in such a state of shock and trauma, the father of the victim had told Mr. Stalin that he wishes that something like this should never happen to any other parent in future. And and if we were to look at this constructively, how are we going to go ahead? And today, the statement made by the Commissioner of Police in Chennai has come under a great deal of criticism. The Commissioner of Police has said that, they do not have the jurisdiction. I mean, is this the time to quibble about jurisdictional issues? Shouldn't the state government have created exclusive task force, which, is a multidisciplinary task force to look at this problem and solve this crime immediately?
We're going to try and put those questions to an AIA DMK spokesperson as well. We're expecting him or her on the phone line in just a short while from now. Kesavan, I'm just going to come to you in a moment. I have your party colleague Khushbu, the well-known Khushbu, who's not only a politician but has lived and worked and thrived in Chennai for many years. She knows the city well as well. Khushbu, I know you've reacted to the story itself, but how does it make you feel, ma'am, that it's been 100 hours, nothing, no clues, and this killer may still be actually out there in the city we all love?
I'm shocked. I'm appalled. I'm completely numbed at the moment.
Yes.
This is not the Chennai we have been looking at. I have been living here in the city for the last 30 years.
Yes.
This is not the Chennai I know of. We used to take pride in saying that Chennai is a city where we could walk out and, just be ourselves and feel safe. But what has happened to Chennai in the last few months, it's really, really, it sets in that fear psychosis among the working women here, the girls, the college students. There's an acid attack. There are murders. There are people. There are paid hackers. There is a murder. This poor girl was killed in the broad daylight in the morning at 6:45. And what is more appalling is the witnesses. They just prefer to walk away. They just got into the next train and they went to doing their own job. I mean, how insensitive have we become? Or we really need to think, if we have pushed the local people so much, the residents, where they actually fear the way the cops, the police, the insensitivity police is going to trouble them by questioning them. They're not gaining the confidence of the cops as to if we have a witness, how are we going to be protected, or how are we going to be questioned? There's a fear among the people, even from the cops, because there's so much of insensitivity.
That's an incredibly powerful point that you've just made, and I think it holds a lot of weight. All the voices we have today on this special broadcast hold so much weight, because these are people, Kesavan, Manu, Khushbu, all of these people have lived and worked in Chennai, so they know what they're actually talking about. And Khushbu, I request you to stay on with me for a little while longer, because we're going to be asking some questions. We're also opening the phone lines to our viewers, and they've got some points which we'd like to hear. We've got Basant who's calling in from Hyderabad. He's our third caller this evening. Basant, what's on your mind? What stands out for you on this story, Basant?
Yeah, it's a very, very sad thing on this part of the people who have been, killed. But at the same time, there was a controversy that, RPF and, Tamil Nadu police and all that.
Yes.
But it is the duty of the RPF to look into that aspect immediately.
That's right.
But, people say that, Tamil Nadu police is not taking action, this man is not taking... But unless the papers are handed over to the Tamil Nadu police or transferred to Tamil Nadu police...
Yes.
They will not be able to take further on the head.
It has, in fact, Basant, I'd like to update you and our viewers that the case has now been transferred to the city police. But I understand the point that you're making about how there is always an unnecessary blame game sometimes between agencies. Every time something like this happens, there has to be a target for the outrage. And I think we in the media sometimes are guilty of that as well. But the update, of course, is that this has been transferred to the city police. We have another caller, Shrikant, calling from Chennai itself. Shrikant, go ahead, have your say.
Yeah, actually, what I want to emphasize here is there is nothing, no word called security in Chennai at all in railway stations as far as railways is concerned. You are scot-free walking into your Chennai Central Railway Station and kill somebody and come out. There is nobody to man you. There is no security in Central Railway Stations.
Yes.
And people had been watching it at 6:30 in the morning, and nobody has been even or tried to go near me. It's really very pathetic situation where we are in.
Shrikant, thanks for calling us. I mean, this is the disbelief among the people of Chennai that something like this could happen, and spectators haven't stepped forward, like Khushbu just pointed out correctly, is something that a lot of people are finding it very hard to get used to. Kesavan, could you comment on that? The disbelief that, the sense of citizenship appears to have been affected. The soul of Chennai appears to have been affected by this story because of people not coming forward to help.
See, two things, Shiv. One, I'll answer the call and then come to your question.
Yes.
See, one is about, passing the buck between the central and the state agencies. See, RPF, the railway police force, is railway protection force under the Ministry of Railways, and the jurisdiction is to basically protect the property. But the GRP, the government railway police and the Chennai police are very well within the state government.
Yes.
So I think let us not pass the buck here. Let's own up, because it took 2 hours to cover the poor girl's body. At least we should have given her the dignity. And coming back to the citizens, I think the onus is on all of us. See, when the Chennai floods happened, Shiv, the spirit of Chennai was so overwhelming, and transcending political parties, the way the public and the individual people reacted ensured that we overcame these great floods. What happened to our Chennai spirit today? You had people standing there and didn't even bother for 2 hours.
Absolutely.
And this girl was hacked and she was lying in blood. And I think it's very, very hurting that, and I'm at a loss of words, because I'm usually not at a loss of words. Is this the same Chennai which came together and rallied around and showed such spirit in
Good point.
December? And one more point, Shiv, see, you're in Delhi. See, we know the kind of public conscience which was stirred after Nirbhaya. And I hope, transcending political lines, let us have a law for Swathi to ensure that this doesn't recur. This should not happen today.
Absolutely.
We should not have a one-off debate today where we discuss and the killer is nabbed. We should have a law in the name of Swathi where this doesn't recur again.
I agree with you, and I hear your anger, and I understand your anger, and the people of Chennai definitely understand your anger. That point about people not stepping forward and helping Swathi is something that has created disbelief. We've got a call from abroad. Subhash is calling in from Nottingham in the United Kingdom. Subhash, go ahead, what's on your mind?
Hey, hi, Shiv, this is Subhash here. I mean, when I read this news, and I have been reading this news from last few days, it's really, really pathetic because one is like the way people around in that area reacted when the girl was dying, and second, the kind of technology we are using. I mean, when you look at the CCTV, I don't think even FBI will be able to crack the case looking at the clarity and
very
the kind
good
of
point.
footage we have.
Yeah.
So I think we need to look at the technology which could give us some kind of, which will help us track down the killer or track down the criminal, and maybe like we need to increase the security level at public places like
I think that's a point that hasn't been raised so far, and I think it's a very well raised point. In these high-tech times, how about getting much clearer CCTV cameras? The point, of course, here that we are wrestling with is that there were no CCTV cameras in the first place at that railway station. We've got an activist, Dr. Dominic Dixon, who's joining us live as well from Bengaluru. But I want to get in a quick word once again from Khushbu. I hope she's still on the phone line with us. You know, Khushbu, in your experience, you know, having lived in Chennai all your life, hasn't it always been the case, ma'am? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've lived there as well. I was born, I spent 20 years of my life in Chennai. But the sense of citizenship, people not thinking twice before intervening and helping someone in a difficult situation, has always been a quality of Chennai.
Absolutely, that's what I say, Shiv. I mean, this is something very shocking. It's totally. You just don't want to believe that something like this has happened, and people have not even, you know, the witnesses, they have just walked away from this. And this man was alone. And I'm sure there were many other people at the railway station, and they could have easily overpowered him and not let him walk away. This man was single.
Yes.
So what if he was armed?
Absolutely.
I mean, 10 of them could go and overpower him, but they allowed him to jump on the tracks. They allowed him to walk away, jump on the other platform, and just carry on with his backpack and walk away as if nothing has happened into anonymity. What happened to the people in the train? What happened to the people on both the platforms? What happened to the people who were at the stalls? Nobody even bothered to run and catch hold of him. What Keswan rightly pointed out, we have seen how the city has come together in December, just 7 months ago.
Exactly.
When the political parties were failing, it was just the unity of the spirit of Chennai which had kept us going together in the times of huge disaster. But what is it? This is not about an individual. It could happen to anybody. It is not about Swathi alone. It could happen to anyone tomorrow. What are we looking at? Where are we heading? I think we really need to open up and say, if it could happen to Swathi, it can happen to any one of us.
I think
let's open our eyes and let's walk with some dignity and say that we need to work towards to stop this.
I think you've captured it in a way that nobody else possibly could have, Khushbu, and I thank you for that. If it could happen to Swathi, it could happen to any one of us. It could happen to our daughters, our sisters, our brothers, our fathers. This was not a far-flung area where it could perhaps even be understood. This was in the heart of the most populated, most modern part of one of India's most safe cities. We're going to take a quick break here. We're getting many more calls. We're coming right back. Our phone lines are still open, and we're going to put many more questions. Also, we're going to bring in Swathi's family and tell you what they have to say about this devastating incident that has shocked them, the death of their daughter, and somehow the death of their city as well. Come right back to this special Up South broadcast. Broadcast here on India Today. I'm Shiv Arur. The phone numbers are on your screen for you to have your say on the big story that's quaking Chennai, the murder of the young Infosys techie Swathi. Even as the Chennai killer remains at large, Swathi's friends and locals organized a candlelight vigil on Sunday. Protesters demanded the immediate arrest of the accused, except nobody knows who the accused is or where he is. Meanwhile, the family of the murdered girl Swathi has appealed to people not to speculate on the reason for her terrifying death.
Anger and outrage peaks over the brutal daylight murder of 24-year-old techie Swathi in Chennai. On Sunday, residents of Chennai and Swathi's friends organized a candlelight vigil at Nungambakkam railway station where she was murdered. Paying their tributes to Swathi, the people demanded justice for her.
as a citizen of Chennai, even I'm ashamed as what has occurred to Swathi. There have been so many instances. I personally have seen citizens of Chennai helping each other. But in this incident, we have no idea what occurred. The authorities were not there. The citizens are being blamed for not helping her. Swathi's remains were left in this platform for nearly an hour. A lot of discrepancy there. Even the person who has killed her has not yet been nabbed.
The protesters also appealed to people and a section of media not to indulge in what they called as character assassination of the victim. This after a section of the media reported that a love angle could be a reason for her murder. While the hunt for the murderer is underway, the victim's family is still coming to terms with their loss. Making a desperate appeal to the media and public, the grieving family has asked them to stop unnecessarily speculating the motive behind the murder. They have also asked people not to tarnish her image.
Just for sensation's sake, if you take relationship, it will, or if you character assassinate, nothing will move forward. Even in social media, we are hearing lots and lots of things like caste comes into play. So things like that are coming up, which is completely irrelevant. We should stick to the issue and we should fight out without character assassination.
So this is no political, no caste, no religions involved. That is 200% we know. Okay. Some culprit is there, we want justice.
Although the family has expressed satisfaction with the investigation so far, the question is, when will the killer be nabbed? Bureau Report, India Today.
A panel of expert voices and political voices are still with us live from Chennai and Bengaluru. We also have an activist, Dr. Dominic Dixon, who's going to give us his expert view in just a moment. But I want to get our viewers first. We're still getting a huge number of calls from our viewers. Gurumurthy is calling from Vellore this evening. Gurumurthy, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Gurumurthy. I'm from Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
Still, Chennai is a big metropolitan city, but there is a 2 CCTV camera caught the man.
Yes.
But the metropolitan city is still not as safe.
Absolutely. No, you're very right.
It's a main point. After 100 hours, there is no clues by the police.
That's the precise question that we are asking, Gurumurthy. 100 hours later, there is no clue that the police is actually pursuing at this point of time. Now, we are not casting aspersions on the police. Sometimes crimes are difficult to actually investigate and solve. But isn't it shocking that 100 hours in a city like Chennai and there's a killer still out there on the loose? We have another caller, Saro, calling from Coimbatore. Saro, go ahead. What's on your mind?
Yes, I have a doubt. Why do IT women fall prey to these heinous crimes? Most of the days we read IT women are being a victim for these. I wish government would allow the techies like engineering students, whoever are there, to bring in new tools to protect women. We youngsters are full on with energy and we are ready to bring in our ideas and implement our knowledge on how to protect women. Why aren't government encouraging us? Why aren't there any
Madam, you are a young professional, working in Tamil Nadu. If I could ask you a question, do you feel that the Chief Minister, Dr. Jayalalitha, should, engage in a conversation with citizens instead of being silent on this particular story? You're saying that you're young and you're energetic and you have ideas on how women can feel a little safer in Chennai. Would you, for instance, Saro, like to meet the Chief Minister and give some ideas?
Yes, I have many ideas to produce, but there's no platform for us to implement what we have in mind. Yes, we have to question the Chief Minister for this, but it could be an India competition.
Yes.
The whole India can participate in this.
For the safety of women, why not? Absolutely. I hear what you're saying, Saro, and I want you to keep in touch with India Today. We can take this forward. This is all about, this is not a one-way street. We're not just broadcasting. We'd like you to send us your ideas, and we'd like to take that forward. We'll put it on a platform. Consider India Today your platform for ideas for young people in this country. We'll keep in touch on that story with you, Saro. Thanks for calling in. Mohanan is our next caller, calling in from Chennai itself. Mohanan, what's on your mind?
See, I have been listening with the conversation which is taking place for quite some time.
Yes.
And people were blaming about the people who are standing in front of when the murder is taken, person who is murdering the women. But the thing is, helping a person during the floods is entirely different.
From watching a murder.
Who is having a sickle or sword in his hand, and you cannot expect people to go near him.
You're saying it's easier said than done.
Go there,
yes.
They'll be hurt. So naturally the fear will be there. Everyone has got the family. Why is that the person is there during daylight? He is doing that because all the politicians, whether it is this party or that party, they engage these rowdies to involve in various murders and other things. You see every day in the movie past 15 years, you go through all the movies, all this violence is shown. Either go to the house of the person, tell the father, I want to take this girl. Will you give or not? If you don't give, they kill the father and take the girl. These movies are being shown throughout for 15 years. So what can you expect?
So you're saying that our films, including Tamil films and perhaps especially Tamil films, glorify men who don't take no for an answer from women and from women's own families. Manu, if I could bring you back in at this point of time, you've got people, you heard Saro, a caller just now from Coimbatore, saying that Jayalalitha should come out and actually say something. For a city like Chennai, Manu, I've grown up there, isn't it totally legitimate for people to expect Jayalalitha, who's a highly educated Chief Minister, to say something, send out some kind of a message to the people of Chennai on this issue?
Right, Shiv. So let me just first, before I come to your question, let me also just say a couple of lines about the caller who had spoken a little earlier, the young woman who was calling from Coimbatore, and she expresses, I think, the great sense of concern, worry, fear amongst young women, especially those, Shiv, who are going to work. It's not the easiest thing. Maybe if in a well-educated urban middle class society, women can go to work, but then a lot of even rural India, women are still not able to go to work, and they have to fight very many battles within society to even be able to go and get a job. And now specifically when there is a great concern over the safety of such young working women, then it's another huge hurdle for such young women. So I totally appreciate her coming on the show and expressing, a willingness to contribute towards how to make this more safe. And I think these are sort of things that we should all work towards. So secondly, to your question about Jayalalitha, this is not an ordinary everyday crime. There's something extraordinary about this crime, be it the time of the day, the young nature of the victim and the alleged perpetrator.
Absolutely.
So there are all these sort of things that point to how horrific this crime is. So has the response been adequate? Has it been proportional? The great sense of anxiety that I feel amongst your callers, amongst people of Chennai, young women, watching this show across India, in this great sense of anxiety,
the thing about Chennai is,
who's also the person holding the portfolio of Home Ministry and Public Law and Order,
some might think that this is a Chennai problem.
Reassured people.
But Chennai is, one of India's biggest, cities, one of India's youngest cities. Kesavan, this is hardly a Chennai-centric issue alone. Thousands of students apply to colleges in Chennai. Thousands of professionals flock to Chennai every single year to get jobs that they have been chasing for a very long time. It's a great employer of India's young professionals. For them, it's a story, and that's why it's a national issue. It's not just a Chennai issue, Kesavan.
It is, and I think that, and see, most important point you very rightly said itself, it's a national issue which should stir our conscience, and more importantly, whenever we talk about women's safety, we've always, generally the proclivity is to associate it, during the later part of the day.
Correct.
Now this, crime in broad daylight is shattered, shattered every kind of myth here.
Yes.
See, and more importantly, the caller was talking about how can somebody intervene when, somebody is attacked. See, even when you go to a railway station, there is a first aid kit. After the attack, for 2 hours, this poor girl was lying there. 2 hours. The perpetrators walked away. You could have stepped in after 2 hours and given basic first aid treatment. Maybe you could have saved her.
Absolutely.
Coming back to the national issue, Shiv, I want to raise 2 points. See, in 2013, when Nirbhaya, the unfortunate incident happened, there was a Nirbhaya fund created with 3,000 crores. Specifically, 700 crores was allotted for railway safety. with about 11,000 trains being covered.
Yes.
What has happened to that? Why doesn't the Chief Minister of the state write? And more importantly, today I read a report by one of a Dakshin Railway Employee Union senior official. He's given an interview. He's raised pertinent points. He said the the Railway Protection Force, which comes under the central government, has 19,000 empty vacancies in terms of personnel to be there. Maybe that cost his life.
Not
and
enough
also
people.
the
Not
budget
enough people.
has been
Yes.
slashed from 3,600 crores to 584 crores. And there is something called the S-Guard. Shiv, S-Guard are the people who will be on the compartments in sensitive areas so that crimes don't happen. And they say in most of the places there is no S-Guard.
So that's a very important issue.
Why doesn't the state
Yes.
government take it up with the central government and
it needs to be sorted out immediately. If there's a shortfall of personnel, a shortfall of equipment and technology.
Another fundamental question, Shiv.
Yes, yes.
And another fundamental question is, after this incident, in the same sector, what has the state government and the central government done? Usually there is a fallacy that if a crime happens one day, it doesn't recur in the same place.
Correct.
What in the same sector which this
that is precisely the question that the people of Chennai will be asking. It's not a question of one party or another, or the centre and the state. The people of Chennai will be asking, how do we make sure this kind of thing doesn't happen again? And the response is completely different. We have another caller, Venkat, calling in from Chennai. Venkat, go ahead. What's on your mind? What would you like to say?
I'm not really coming to this story, but all I can suggest is, you happen to see the cops in Chennai.
Yes.
They are too busy collecting their mammoths, right from morning to night, right from the platform to the seller who sells goods from platform, collecting food from restaurant. Now all kind of vehicles are given to them by the CM Home Ministry.
So you're saying there's a corruption issue also?
Yes. Because of that, they are busy. Cops are busy in their own manner by collecting money and all these kind of foods from restaurants.
Okay. So Venkat, you're saying that there could be a distraction and a corruption issue. Now, we would definitely not paint all policemen and policewomen with the same brush. There are definitely bad apples in every force. But Venkat from Chennai suggests that there is an issue in terms of distraction. Collecting freebies, corruption, bribery, all these things must be adding up to them not being in the right place at the right time to actually stop such crimes, if not solve them very quickly after they take place. Milan Berman is our next caller calling in from Goa this evening. Milan, go ahead. Okay, we've lost that line with Milan. Pramod, I want to come back to you because this is a story, like Kesavan said, this is not just a one-off debate. We're going to continue to track it because that man is still out there. Cannot emphasize this enough. That killer, 100 hours after the crime was committed, is still very much out there. Pramod, what are the police saying? What are the police saying? Are they following any leads whatsoever apart from those CCTV images about who this man is and where he might be? Is there a chance that he's just left Chennai already?
Well, Shiv, after 3 days, we were able to catch one police person who would speak to us. And that too, we were lucky because Trichy's SP for Government Railway Police was at Swathi's place and we caught her, and then we found out that she was there to have a small conversation and find out and produce certain documents about this particular
Pramod,
CCTV
just stay with me for a second. Just stay with me for 1 second because we've got a caller and I don't want to keep our callers waiting for too long. Shobha is calling in from Chennai. Shobha, please go ahead and tell us what's on your mind.
Yes, actually, my train, I passed the station around, I think, 8:45. It was around 9 o'clock, I would have reached Egmore. Then Egmore, some people told me, did you see around Nungambakkam there was a body lying? I said, I didn't see. It was around 9 o'clock actually. It's more than 2.5 hours.
So it took more than 2.5 hours for this to happen? Definitely.
It should have been more than 2.5 hours to 3 hours only. I was so shocked actually when I heard that because people were all talking. And I don't know why it is like that. Actually, what about the shopkeepers? Why when they saw the murder, why they didn't shout? Nothing happened. That's what is really shocking us.
Has that made you feel unsafe, Shobha, in Chennai? That
it's not unsafe. I feel bad. Actually, people are not like the Chennaites are not like that.
Chennai has changed.
Something.
Chennai has changed.
No,
That's how you feel.
Chennaites are not so bad. But something I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why there was no reaction? What is the? Maybe people weren't there. Is that the case? I'm trying to make sense of this.
We've got a call. Shobha, thank you very much for your views. Very important. N. Vittal, former Chief Vigilance Commissioner, is on the phone line with us. Mr. Vittal, what would you like to say about this shocking case and what's been happening over the last 100 hours? Mr. Vittal, can you hear us? Okay, we've lost that line with Mr. Vittal. Pramod, I want to go back to you. I want to come back to you quickly for an update before we wrap up this particular discussion and continue our other coverage. You said that the police is working on some leads, Pramod.
Well, like I told you before, around 1:30, 1:45, Miss Annie Vijay, SP for Trichy Government Railway Police, was present at Swathi's house. We were able to speak to her. We cornered her actually, and we asked her what is the update, and that is when we came to know. She said, like, first point is that they are using scientific techniques to corner this person, and second thing is that they have all the clues. All the clues are being continuously being wrapped upon again and again to find out more points where he could have been. But we asked her, like, have they made an identification, because a sickle was there that could definitely have his fingerprints. So based on scientific technology, were they able to mark his identification? She did not answer for that. So we asked her, like, what kind of scientific technology has been used? She did not answer for that. So we just asked her, like, basic update on it. She simply said that pretty soon they will be able to catch the person.
Okay,
but within 15 minutes or so, we came to know that the case has been transferred from the railway police to the Chennai police. Okay, so now they won't have any jurisdiction.
So they say they have some leads, but they don't have any answers for any specific questions, whether that's because the investigation is still on or because the police is genuinely clueless. Now, we don't want to, affect the morale of the police force. Everyone is a professional police force. Everyone is doing their job, and we would like to support them in any way that we can, and we will only tell the story. We're not here to assign blame on anyone. We're here to discuss and report what's going on in the beautiful city of Chennai that's lost a bit of its soul, really, in the last 100 hours. Let's hope justice for Swathi can be served. Manu Sundaram, CR Kesavan, Pramod, Kushbu, thank you so much, and to all our callers, of course, and sorry to those who we couldn't put through because of lack of time. We will continue this discussion right here on India Today. Thanks very much for watching.